Hi, everybody. You've probably heard some things recently about Canada and potassium iodide pills, which are required to prevent problems with your thyroid gland from nuclear radiation. Now, I was going back here to 2011, March 15th, and a Dr. Kendall, Chief Medical Officer for British Columbia in Canada, had this to say. It is recommended that pharmacies do not disperse or stockpile potassium iodide tablets. It is recommended that pharmacies do not disperse potassium iodide tablets. And this man's name is Dr. Perry Kendall. Dr. Perry Kendall, and his bio, if I just have a quick look here at his bio. Provincial Health Officer, Chief Provincial Health Officer. And he joined this position in 2005. His job is to advise the minister and senior members of the ministry on health issues in BC and on the need for legislation, policies, and practices concerning those issues, one being monitoring the health of the people of BC, providing information and analysis on health issues, reporting to the public on health issues, the need for legislation, change of policy or practice respecting health in BC. And his advice was, it is recommended that pharmacies do not disperse potassium iodide tablets. That was only on March 15th, 2011, 4 days after the Fukushima disaster. That doctor made that decision. Now, the apparent concern that the Canadian government has now is not with Fukushima, but existing nuclear power plants in Canada. So they're recommending that the government of Canada distribute potassium iodide pills to Canadians who live within 10 kilometers of nuclear power plants. Well, there are no nuclear power plants in British Columbia, which is on the west coast of Canada. And so people there aren't going to get any potassium iodide pills. And the one thing that people should know about this so-called fake story about them desiring the potassium iodide pills for the residents in Ontario that live within 10 kilometers of a plant, they already have a stockpile on hand. This article was from March 22nd, 2011. And they already had a stockpile at that time. And so, you know, they're trying to make people think that there is not a disaster in Fukushima. You got nothing to worry about on the West Coast. Let's pretend we're ordering these pills for people for some potential accident that's never happened yet, and we'll completely ignore everything that's happening in Fukushima. All the debris that's landing on the West Coast. We'll ignore the rain. We'll ignore the dairy products, the milk from the cows. We'll let the babies drink it, radioactive. We'll just cover up the whole thing. And that's what this is really about. The government of British Columbia is one of the most corrupt governments in the world. And apparently, there are more Satanists on Vancouver Island than anywhere else in the world. So you're going to have to get your own stuff, get your own potassium iodide. You're going to have to do your own research. There's one thing for sure. The British Columbia government and the Canadian government are not concerned with your health. Because if they were concerned with your health, they would do something about chemtrails. They would be testing your food for radiation, your milk. But they're not. They would be doing something about bioterrorism, Morgellons, the chemtrails. But I can tell you, I can assure you, they do not give a hoot. They do not care. I've written, most of them, about the bioterror called Morgellons, which comes from chemtrails. Not one answered me. Not one. Not even the Prime Minister. Okay? So, be very, very concerned about your own health and do not believe the Canadian government. BS. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll post links below.